Hello students, welcome to your online class. Today to begin with your English literature, we will start with chapter 13, the book of nature. Okay, and also it is your second last chapter for your fourth online test. I'll be giving you the syllabus very soon. So let's start today with this. Now the book of nature, this is actually an extract from letters that a father has written to his daughter, to her daughter. Okay, and the father here is Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so he wrote a series of letter to his daughter Indira Gandhi when she was studying in Mysore. Okay. So as a child, Indira Gandhi used to be very inquisitive. Okay. She was very curious to know about nature or everything she used to see. She was very, she was very curious to know that why this is happening, what is this, what is that, why this, why that. So she always had so many questions to ask for. So her father used to answer all of them, how much he has in his knowledge. So as Indira Gandhi as Indira Gandhi grew and she had to move out to Mysore for her higher studies, her father missed her definitely, and then he thought that, like how Indira Gandhi used to ask everything to whatever she used to see in life happening. So she used to ask questions. She used to have a lot of questions regarding all this to her father. So Jawaharlal Nehru thought that though she is out, far from him, still she might be having so many questions in her head. So why not answer them and why not tell her what is all about? So here he writes so many letters to Indira Gandhi, and this is a particularly one extract that has been taken, one part that has been taken from those letters. Okay, where he's going to talk about nature. Okay, the book of nature. Okay, so through these letters he told her the story of civilization, how people from, like, totally ape man to, like, now we are what we are, civilized. Yes or no? Totally. So he told the story of civilization, how people have evolved. Okay, how everything has, like, from gadgets to us to whatever it is, how it has evolved, how it has originated, how we have grown. Okay, scientifically or natural wise. So natural history and how life began on earth. So every little details that what he is going to tell us in this story that we are going to see today. Okay, so as I said, this is an extract from letters from a father to a daughter by Nehru. Since Indra often asked him questions about many things, he answered them in these letters. In the book of nature, Nehru talks about how life originated, okay, on earth. Life on earth is millions and millions of years old. Okay, it's not about yesterday or day before yesterday it happened. Okay, it's about millions and millions of years old. Okay, it is not inhabited by men or women. Okay, before men came there were only animals, and before animals there was a time when no life existed on earth. Now many of you have heard this story that first God created the planet, created this earth, and then uh, some plants, and then he tried to experiment it with sending an animal, making some animal, sending an animal, a serpent actually, and then a man and a woman. And this, he has seen how they could exist, so not exist, like how they could live the life uh, all by themselves. So I'm sure you have heard the story about all that. Let's not go to that. So here he's saying that before men came to this planet there were actually animals, and before animals there was a time when no life existed on earth. It was totally vacant, empty. He asks Indra to reflect back in time. I know it is very difficult to imagine like that, but he's asking her to reflect in that time. Nehru writes that it may be difficult for Indra to believe that this world, which is so full today, everywhere you see people around, known, unknown, was once empty or devoid of animals or people. He goes on telling that scientists and those who have studied Earth and its genesis tells us that there was a time when it was hot for any living being making it difficult for anyone to live on it. So they all the scientists, all those who studies earth, okay, and its genesis, okay, how it has evolved. So they say that earlier it used to be very hot, the plant used to be very hot to survive or to live, okay. He throws thought-provoking questions about history. Okay, he further writes that when there were no people, no history could be written. So we also must be very thankful that today we know how we have civilization, how we have developed this far. Okay, by reading all the histories of our past, life, so ancestors life. So they're saying that if people would not be there, we would not and if the people would not write, we would not read today, and we would not know what are their sufferings and what they had all gone through to bring us this civilization today. He further writes that when there were no people, no history could be written, but how can we find out what happened then? He further adds that although no history books or books written in far off days are available yet, we have certain things that tells us a great deal. Okay, though what they have written might not be actually we are reading it. Okay, but still there are certain books. Okay, which says we have he says we have rocks, mountains, seas, stars, rivers and deserts. Okay, we all know that these are the books for earth's early story. This tells us actually the time of for evolving, for originating, for happening things. Okay, this actually tells us the time and everything about and all the suffering that earth has gone through or human has gone through. Okay, these are the books for earth's early story, and the real way to understand this story is not to merely read about it, not to just simply read about it in other people's book, but to go to the great book of nature itself. We have to imagine ourselves reading this. Okay, according to Nehru, every little pebble, small stones, so every little pebble lying on the road or on the mountainside may be a little page in nature's book. Okay, and may be able to tell her something. So here and there, everywhere we can find at least small pebbles, yes or no? So he's saying that every pebbles have its own story. Okay, and it must be in maybe in a little page of every nature's book, so which may be able to tell her something what that pebble has gone through. To be able to read it, she had have to know the alphabet. Yes or no? We all know that, like, if someone is illiterate or does not go to school and does not know how to read and write, if you give him the book or copy, it is useless for him. Yes or no? So same like that, in order to understand the nature, you have to get into the nature. Okay, you have to understand, you have to imagine, you have to reflect. Okay, so just like how to be able to read, we have to know the alphabets. Yes or no? He meant that she should learn the alphabet of nature before reading the story in a stone or or a rock. He asks her father if she has observed how the pebbles get smooth and shiny. Okay, he's saying that how small pebbles, okay, rocks are very rough. Okay, they are sharp, they are pointy, whereas pebbles are very smooth, if you have noticed. Yes or no? So he's saying that, do you know how pebbles, have you ever observed that how pebbles have got smooth and shiny? So no, they must be a small piece of actually the big rocks. Okay, he says that if you break a big rock into small bits, each bit is rough and has uneven corner and edges. Yes or no? But the question is how the pebble, okay, which is actually part of a rock, became so round and smooth and shiny. Yes or no? Indra would be able to tell its story if only she has eyes and ears to hear its story. So she will only know, Indira Gandhi would only know the story behind pebble getting round, smooth and shiny if she has the ability to hear, to see, okay, to understand the story that she has gone through, that the pebble has gone through. Okay. He adds that the little piece of rock broke away from a big rock, imagining that the small shiny pebble, smooth pebble, could have actually broken down or broken away from big rock. Okay, it had plenty of edges and corners as always. Okay, like as usual how rock has it. So it also had plenty of edges and corners. Okay, it may have rested on smooth on some mountainside, but maybe uh, it had it have rested on some mountainside in some corner. It must have gone. Okay, then came the rain and washed it. Then maybe the rain had come and that's why it has washed down again. It has uh, washed it down in the little valley where it found a mountain stream, a small stream river. Okay, which pushed it further till it reached a little river, again, which has pushed it to a little river. This little river took it to the big river again, and in the way, the edges were worn out and the surface became smooth and shiny. And because of this traveling, or because of this formation, or whatever you say, the she's just getting washed away. Okay, moving like continuously, so this might have made the surface smooth and shiny. He also explains that she must have found it left behind by the river, but if the river had carried it on, it would have become smaller and smaller. So now you have a pebble in your hand which is smooth and shiny. Okay, because it must have been left by the river on that side. Okay, that's why she could find that much as a small pebble. But if it would had again washed away with the river, you might not find it. Okay, you must have found it left behind the river, but if the river had carried on, it would make a beautiful beach, so that it would have become smaller and smaller. So as it has been carried continuously, it would become smaller and smaller in size, till at last it became a grain of sand. Till at last it becomes a grain of sand, the sand that you play on it. Okay, like a beach, like whatever on riverside, the sand that you see, it's actually the piece of rock, if you imagine. Okay, and join its brother at the seaside to make a beautiful beach for us, for the children to play. Okay, if a little pebble could tell you so much, how much more could she learn from all the rocks? So if the little pebble can tell you so many stories that she has gone through, okay, just imagine how many stories or how much a rock could tell you, and mountains and many other things we see around us. Okay, so nature is one of the oldest book available for human beings to understand about many things that happened in prehistoric time. Okay, he wanted to nurture Indra's young and impressionable mind with an unprejudiced view of history. So he wants his daughter to understand, become that soft person, and see what is going around her. Okay, he's saying that nature is one of the oldest book that human could read. Okay, that happened in prehistoric time. Okay, and he wanted Indra to nurture her impressionable mind, to become a very prejudiced view of, to have prejudiced view of nature. So that's what the book of nature is all about. It's actually a letter written by father to a daughter. Jawaharlal Nehru has written this letter to Indira Gandhi, okay, to his daughter Indira Gandhi, who has gone to Mysore to read for further studies. And then he explains how the book of nature has evolved and how we have seen the civilization. Okay, so that's it, all that's all about it. So I hope you have understood. Okay, I want you all to read the chapter, okay, yourself, and then we will continue with the question answers tomorrow.